into game 3.
I know you're talking about gently and quietly, bro. Do you know what game we're watching? You know what region this is? I think you need to ship back over from the LCK. That's not what we do things here for as we are into the draft. And the Nocturne has been banned. First rotation. Is that necessary?
No. The banning Crocturn is definitely interesting. Not only that, banning both the Xayah and Rakan. Hey, Loud, listen, Trajan, I usually hate saying that things are draft gap because no matter how much you do get draft gap, there's usually still a win condition. But we have had 2 games so far that have honestly been draft gap. It was Red last game trying way too hard to go explosive mid game. It was Loud in game 1 just not respecting Red's comp. And this time around, Red, they've recognized that problem champion that we identified it as last game. Nico getting first pick, but it's not without a cost. Robo and Root each getting their best champion.
Yeah, Envy with a chance to step up here again and be the talked about player finally. If he can bring this one back in game 3. The junglers, despite the Nocturne, the good junglers have been not particularly touched so far in the ban phase as Maokai slips through, comes through for ages if he wants to lock this one in, but Robo on the Renekton. We have so far seen game 1, FNB and Robo, they both sacked off the lane. Game 2, FNB did him dirty with the Renekton, but it wasn't enough. Now we need to see what FNB's answer to that champion is.
And it's also Titan opting into that hyper carry. This is what I wanted last game out of him. Interestingly, it's the Zeri instead of the Aphelios. I think oftentimes the Zeri considered to do a little bit better into the Kai'Sa just due to its heightened mobility. Because Kai'Sa oftentimes going to be paired with something like the Nautilus, the Rel, the Rakan. Now, Rel and Rakan, 2 best supports on the patch, have been taken off. I would expect to just see a mid lane answer or jungle picked up. That Maokai was hovered. It's been banned both games so far. Croc could easily just go towards that one or an answer to this Nico in mid. It was Syndra in game 1, but Azir and LeBlanc both up and available this time, champions that have seen bans so far this series.
Yeah, we know the Syndra can push the Nico away from those engages, but the LeBlanc has a lot more safety in the early and mid game and can be a carry element itself. We've seen Tinones do a lot of work on this pick before. As we've seen the FNB, he's taken the L, right? He's holding that L in the lane. He's gonna go down, at least in pressure in the 1 versus 1. But before, that happened in game 1, and he was still really, really impactful on the Cassante. So he's gonna be looking to do the same thing here today in game 3. As we hit the jungle bans now coming through, the Ivern is not gonna be allowed here in game 3.
No, definitely not. Ivern has been a champion that Aegis has looked pretty solid on so far, and I mean, Loud, they're already showing their carries. I'm surprised that Red is looking to ban out supports. I suppose removing those engage sort of tanks from the Kai'Sa lane is favorable, but you've still got options down the tier list. I mean, you've got the Leonas of the world if you want to go for that, as Seos, and things like Maokai still up and available that Croc could easily just pick right here to facilitate these 3 carry lanes.
Yeah, I think that's what he wants, right? He's going to say, Red, you got to ban that, otherwise we're going to take it, right? We've taken away the kind of the second tier of picks, including Aegis' special answer in this series. You're going to have to give us the Maokai if you want to have that, but there it is. So they're going to have potentially more freedom in that support role for Seos. And then we'll see what they want to do with this jungle. Now they don't have this one. The Poppy's still available, as he has taken in their early series, but it was a quiet one for Croc. We didn't see too much out of the Poppy then.
Yeah, you know, it struggled to really find a lot of impact. I do think Poppy is a champion that still functions really well in this draft for Loud. I actually think it functions well for Red here if you wanted it for your own right against Alistar, Renekton, Kai'Sa, LeBlanc. I think that should, in fact, be the pick, because then what do you go to? If you are Croc, I mean, as far as champions that have been played this split, the only ones still up and available are Wukong, Lee Sin, and Trundle. Trundle could actually be really good here for Loud. I would not want to see the Wukong or the Lee Sin into this Poppy pick. Otherwise, it would have to be something different that we've not seen.
Croc's given us the Trundle once so far this split. Karaoke's given us one as well with mixed results. But I do like a bit of Trundle here in the CBLOL. It's a good answer.
If they pick Leona, Trundle is really good.
Yeah, a lot of tanks to shred, right? A lot of disruption to have there. Yeah, a lot of
tanks to shred. Not a lot of damage on the side of Red either. I mean, you've got the Zeri, but Nico, a little bit more of a burst champion. Not particularly adept at taking down frontline. Trundle could be a really strong option, really investing in root carrying late game with Robo and Tinones to be the mid-game bridge. Favorable mid-jungle 2v2. We'll see.
Bro, we can see it on the screen. We're just too good for it, bro. Here it comes.
That is definitely the best pick. Yeah, favorable mid-jungle now coming through for Loud with this Trundle LeBlanc. You've got to be a little bit careful of that Poppy, of course, as Tin owns, but Trundle really has his way in this one-on-one. And again, not a lot of late game damage for Red. It's going to all be on Titan, which they were able to do in game number 1. He popped off on that Xayah, but game 2 got camped. Red needs to figure out a way to solve their getting perma-dove bot problems. We talked about the heat map last game. You cannot let Titan get zoned off of that many waves this time around. You just can't.
Yeah, I don't really love the wave matchup for any of these lanes for Red, right? The LeBlanc's going to be able to potentially pressure Nico a lot. Nico can clear waves very easily, right? But if Tino's has the mechanics down, he can use some ability to get out of winning those trades, and Renekton's going to have to run a top lane. So Red, I think Aegis might be kind of spoiled for choice, or rather pulled too thin, right? Stretched between all 3 of these lanes where he needs to be solving problems, putting out fires all through the early game. And if he can do that, then excellent. Red's got a nice comp put together and they can go into the mid game feeling good. But if he doesn't, he can start falling pretty far behind.
Yeah, Aegis is a player that we do pride for his versatility here in the CBLOL. He's one of the only junglers that I think is adept at playing both offensively and defensively. But what I will say, I think Red as a team looks their best when Aegis is able to play offensively. That's not been the case so far this series, Trajan. He's been on the Ivor 2 games, now here on the Poppy, a champion that can have offensive pressure if he's able to find it, but as you say, lots of volatility across the map. Loud right now, they have 3 winning lane matchups and the favorable jungle matchup. Not only that, scaling is decent on both sides. Now, if we're talking 6 items ultra late game, Titan Zeri should be able to do it, but we're a long way off from that point. I like Loud's draft, but Red, they've still got some comfort in the bank. It's a very easy to execute composition. You just can't let Titan fall behind.
Yeah, exactly, right? And we had plenty of words of constructive criticism for Loud in the way they executed some of these dives from game 2, right? It was not the cleanest
They were suspect,
attempts.
yeah.
They were pretty suspect. So if Red are able to deal with that better now with the Poppy, with a bit more of a defensive comp, and one that can scale up if they manage to keep even, Loud needs to clean that early play up, or it is potentially going to set them behind us. Every single game we've had these lower mid-river brushes contested. No damage will be fired out just now. Aegis and FNB stepping far forward here in a 3 versus 2 situation. Robo coming down the river. Tinos doesn't find the chain though. That might be the key for FNB to go forward. He's got the Untopo stacks ready to go for the knockup. He will back away.
Robo going to be able to get down a deep ward as well, tracking Aegis when you're the team that wants to be able to play aggressively with things like this Renekton, LeBlanc, Alistar. Having information as to Aegis' whereabouts can be huge. Aegis starts on his red buff almost every single game here in the CBLOL. Only a couple games where he started on the blue side of his jungle. So Loud going to have the information. Bot lane could get a little volatile. Seos this time around has the flash up for that level 1 play if they wanted to trade some summoners.
Hopefully before that bot lane gets too volatile, let's quickly go to Soph Chan, who's got another interview lined up for us.
Definitely not volatile around here. I've got Belzy with me, the coach for Loud, and I want to ask you the presence of the Kai'Sa on all the 3 games that you've had today. I want to know about the reasoning behind it.
So overall, like Kai'Sa is kind of a do-it-all pick. Like even though she's like good rundown pick, she can always go for like this long range also dressed, right? Like she can always go for like this W kind of playstyle. Yeah. So like since she always can play like both styles or like even more styles, like she's really kind of a good picker overall to have like early on the draft, so you can go both sides depending on what enemy kind of shows towards you.
Definitely. So a vulnerable versatility.
Yes.
Right, there you go. All right, thank you so much. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Soph Chan. And the bot lane's very kindly not having a crazy level 1, level 2 punch up this time to give us time for the insight from Belzy. Much appreciated. And as he said there, Kai'Sa, the kind of the do-it-all pick, right? You can adjust how you want to play this champion to fit whatever comp and situation you need.
Yeah, but Trajan, we are seeing a bit of vertical jungling here. Both Croc and Aegis going to trade blue sides. See if there's any threat of a dive in bot. Red, they are stacking a wave, but meanwhile, Robo on this Cassante, this Renekton rather, we have seen, no matter the matchup, when he's on this champion, Croc loves to go for the early dives on the enemy. It's not going to be a tower dive, but with that wave pushing away from FNB, no jungle help. He needs to be careful.
Croc just pulling the recall, in fact. Having
Yeah.
cleaned out that top side, Aegis going to walk back into this jungle and find it a little bit quieter than he expected, perhaps. Uses the Squire's Bloom to check that only the Wolves remaining. And goes on to a Scuttle at least. So he is going to find that, and he's going to be a little behind Croc on that first clear. But it does mean that FNB doesn't have to deal with a potential gank up there. He really wants to get that wave pushed out, but Robo's holding him firm.
Yeah, Aegis respecting the threat of that potential top lane play, opts not to go for anything bottom, and instead just comes up to cover FNB. I think I like that, especially because Root and Zeus are full HP. They're not really under that much threat, so I think good defensive play already. Red, we said we needed Aegis to be the one that can help cover each of their lanes, not allow Loud to make any sort of big proactive plays. Doing that pretty well so far, 4 minutes in.
They are keeping track of Lock fairly well. You can see Frosty and Aegis going up, getting the double scuttle for a bit of that river mobility, a bit of the vision there through those early gank directions here, and Croc is just going to keep clearing away as they approach level 4, level 5. So we still don't have the ultimates ready, far from it. And until we do, it might still stay a little bit quiet. The Titan on the Zeri, he could do with a quiet lane, I'll be honest. He's had a bit too much excitement for his own good over the last couple of games. I would love to just scale up and get those items on deck.
I think Titan would be perfectly fine with just a nice little like 0-0-0 score line at 10 minutes instead of the, what was it, like 0-5-5 that we saw? Like, that was brutal, man. I mean, let's remember too, like, for as much as he got dove, if Titan got like any of those shutdowns that Loud traded back, he would have been fine. But the problem is he got none of the kills, which just feels terrible.
Absolutely zero injection for him. You know, FNB was the one with 5 kills and plenty of gold to work with, but the Titan Lucian just had nowhere to go.
I feel like for Loud, it was task failed successfully, where they kept inting over kills, but none of them went to Titan, so he was still completely out of the game anyway. So I guess it ended up working in the end, you know? Like, it was just a really weird sequence.
Exactly. Like,
but
good idea, right? Keep him down, but we could have actually just fed him a ton of gold in the attempt to do this, but we didn't, so it's fine, I guess, and we'll take the win, you know, and we'll go to 1-on-1 as they're heading on to the Dragon now, starting up with Croc. Seos over the wall, has the flash, could look for an engage, and the rotate, the priority is with Tinones here, who has level 6. I think Loud's just going to pick this one up.
So Robo has TP, so he can just shadow for this play and punish Red if they want to contest, or just TP back to top anyway and miss nothing. Now, Root did drop a bot wave for that, so he's about 10 CS behind the Zeri now. That's a pretty big commitment from Loud investing in that Dragon with that.
FNB, or not FNB I should say, Envy there, getting pressured in by the turret. When it comes in, of course, it returns you to your real HP total, so it looks like the turret, looks like the pillar did half his HP in damage, which would be, you know, as those Riot August posts, this is the buff that Trundle needs. You know, his pillar just does half your HP.
How broken would Trundle be, though, if the pillar did damage?
Yeah.
Like, that would be crazy.
If you get it directly under them, right? If you get, like, the bump where it comes up.
You punt them up in the air. Yeah.
Yeah, it also
that would
does.
Be, I mean, depending on how much, you know, if it was just like, 100 base damage with like an AP ratio, then Trundle would probably be fine, but that did like legitimate damage, man, that champion would be broken.
So you can build AP Trundle on ARAM, right? You can go pillar Trundle and just...
Oh, that sounds so toxic. Not only then can you interrupt your teammates' bases just to be funny, you can also like one-shot people with the pillar. Like, super balanced.
Very balanced. Get on it, right? Get on that one. You know, we know you've probably not got nothing else to be doing. So we are going to see both these jungles on the bot side right now. Croc got a load of vision down there, cleared out that Scotland, is pulling the recall almost at level 6. But it is still dead even, more or less, in the gold. Just the Dragon for Loud. And Red, with this defensive style, these losing lane matchups that we'd highlighted, they are generally down across the board, but they haven't given up kills. They're still fine.
Yeah, and Root equalized the CS gap as well, and I think at the end of the day, I like the drop of the bot wave to go for the Dragon, even though it does frustrate Root just a little bit in his gold income for sure. Loud, they do have the more mid-game oriented team, and these games have been decided off of some extremely explosive fights around the 15-minute mark, going decisively the way of one team or the other. So if you're able to start stacking up those Dragons, forcing Red into those sort of fights, that will help Loud's win conditions ultimately come online for this game. Maybe some pressure for an early soul to match that sort of scaling. So good play ultimately by them, despite the gold being lost. And now, Envy, he's got teammates, he's fine.
Yeah, gets the pop blossom out as well. Seos threatening to follow up. And Loud have that tool off the table here. The Herald is live, and it means they won't have a pop blossom to play for it.
Yeah, that is a pretty big cooldown being burned, and you've got the LeBlanc Renekton Trundle. I mean, Loud just has a drastically winning 3v3 or 4v4 on this top side with the supports being here. I don't think there's anything that Red can do to contest this unless Loud messes up. They've got Cryo on the waves as well as Red. They are poking their heads in here. Nice chunk on the Tinones, but yeah, there's just nothing to be done.
Yeah, he just has the ultimate. Maybe a Keeper's Verdict could do it, but look at that wave stacked up for FNB. He's already been picked into a Renekton matchup. At least let him get some waves.
They're still here. Why? Like, go farm. You're not going to win this, Aegis.
Yeah, Envy checking it with the clone. Frosty doesn't have level 6, and Seos does. Like this. Okay, he's going in for it. They can get it low enough, but Loud now holding the damage, not proccing the eye. Gonna wait for Croc to just walk back over as Titan and Root are going at it. Ult's being traded in the bot side. Titan taking the better of this trade. He's going crazy, going to the tower.
He got him!
Titan finds it and takes the flash from Root on top of it.
Maybe a little disrespectful from Root right there, thinking he was able to walk it out, realizes he has to flash, but it's too late, and you can see in the player cam, Titan talking a little crap to his opposite number. That's a really big solo kill, Trajan, as it is Loud that secured the Herald, but this Zeri is the win condition for Red, and he's coming online.
That is exactly what Red needed, right? We felt like they were wasting so much time on this top side, just kind of fake contesting this Herald that they realistically had no chance of getting. They needed to get something for all that time spent, and I guess it's kind of similar to Loud in game 2, right? I guess it worked, so, you know, genius. We set that up so Titan would simply get a solo kill down here.
Yeah, we'll be able to see it again, I guess. Root thinks Titan has base, and it's going to be a flank over the wall. Ultra Shock Laser misses, but with the chain slows, Root can't get out. He needed a flash 2 Qs ago. Flash is late, ends up dying. Sure, trades the flash back, but I would rather be at a flash disadvantage as Root than give over first blood, and so pretty big mistake. Ends up going punished. That's a big play for Titan.
Yeah, you can see, make sure he gets onto that turret, get the plate first, channel the recall, then stand up and shout at your opponent. All right, there he is.
He's got his priorities, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's not in the shop under the enemy tower, okay? Seos now getting aggressive and has to drop the Alistair ultimate. Titan fighting for more, but the rotations from Loud are coming through. Red might lose a lot for this one kill on an Alistair. Envy's seen the double TP now from Red to try and save the day. Tinones doesn't go over the wall, and he's back to his clone positioning. FNB can lock them down. Envy with the bot blossom, and Red come out of bot lane massive.
It's over-aggression from Loud as they try to commit forward into the double teleport, but Red, defensive play, the name of the game in this early. They're going to be able to deny any sort of dragon stacking away from Loud as well. FNB and Envy, no hesitation, protect their AD carry, and Titan is off to the races in this one.
When Red know what the mission is, as you say, protect the AD carry, they're oh so good at executing, and Red are the ones kicking off in the first place as well.
Yeah, so Loud feels safe because they have a numbers advantage on the bottom side of the map, but the problem is they're not nearby. A really nice commitment from Frosty as he finds the engage, and at this point, it looks good for Loud, but Red, they recognize it. They channel those TPs instantly, and Loud kept going forward. I think a critical error from Root and Tinones, thinking they might be able to get out with a kill. They most certainly could not. Should have just let Seos die, and instead it becomes 3 kills unanswered over to Red rather. Loud, they do get tower plates in top, deny the waves. It's also plates for Tinones in bot. So not a complete disaster, but it's still Loud being ahead.
It has solved the early game deficit that Red have to deal with those lane matchups, right? Loud was executing on those 1v1s and 2v2s very well, but it just didn't matter when Red was able to find that fight in the bot side. And look who's got all the gold. It's Titan, 3-0, set up to be the late game win condition again.
How good does this feel, too, after just getting blasted on that Lucian pick? 5,900 gold to his name. My guy is fed. This was the win condition for Red. It still most certainly is with how strong he's looking. And now Tinones get a little dicey with FNB.
Oh, no chain as well. This is static shift LeBlanc as well, remember. It's not like FNB doesn't have the right type of damage mitigation. He's got armor, and Tinones only has AD, so he's not going to do that much damage to Cassante, and Red FNB will be happy to lane in this side wave, whereas Nico up in the top side can use that range. Seems to be threatening onto Robo as well. Suddenly, after that one fight, Red seem to have control across the map.
They really do. I mean, Loud is just at a complete solo lane mismatch right now. Not really any other thing to be said about that. Robo can contest Envy pretty well, but as you see, he doesn't have priority. Envy able to harass him under tower, and Tino's not really able to do anything to FNB on the bottom side. I think they're just waiting for this Herald to spawn, because Loud, again, still strong in these mid-game team fights. No matter how powerful Titan may be, if you can kill him, your composition should be able to take over the game, and Titan is not to 1v9 potential just yet.
Tinones caught up by Frosty. There's the stun. Beautiful follow-up by the Red support. And the Cassante chasing down the LeBlanc, but Frosty with the fadeaway ignite has to do it himself. Croc is there to try and get one back, and there's an Alistair following up. But the Leona is too easy to walk away there. Envy trying to hold up his top lane tower. Not going to be able to do so as Robo still gets that first turret gold.
Man, Tinones just powdered FNB's ankles, but Frosty just disco ignited him anyway. That is so upsetting, but nicely played, I guess, from Tinones to almost survive. It ultimately is a nice pick from Red. Killing the support, not really going to mean too much on the grand scheme of things. Not too much was burned from Loud either. Still, again, looking at this Herald fight in 30 seconds, I think that's going to be a big moment in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. We can see the plates are in the favor of Loud off those lane advantages, but it has not got them ahead as we reach the 15-minute mark. Red are going to have that Zeri accelerated towards that second item. Nico as well going to be able to hit that mythic before too long, and then those team fights are going to get very, very strong, whereas Tinones and Root 0-2-0 each, still sitting on a static shiv and a dream. They really need to get some real damage on those carries.
They really do, and it's going to be the reason why Loud doesn't even fight for this. They're just going to play on the waves, play on the towers, which is smart when you're in that double static shift power spike. They're going to get bot tower traded over for this Herald, as well as some mid priority. The biggest question for me is whether or not Red goes up and dives Robo after this, or if they opt to play cover. FNB with the TP out to save the bot tower leads me to believe the latter, as again, they don't feel like they need to hard press their advantage. They've got a 3-0 Zeri. They are chilling.
Yeah, FNB, I thought when I saw that TP, I was like, are they not just going to dive him and kill him? 3 or 4v1, and FNB has the same thought by the looks of it. It does take a lot of Loud members' time to push that wave in. They have to head down there and watch it, as the same is happening on top side. So the TP comes in now from Tinones, but then Envy getting the counter. Won't get caught up, but it is the 1-for-0 turret trade for Loud so far.
But Red has that Herald to be able to set up for this Dragon fight. Honestly, I would love to see Red not even fight for the Dragon. They should fast push this mid wave, drop the Herald to knock down this mid tower, and then move towards top and take down that low HP top tower. You'd lose a Dragon for it, but the gold onto your carries, as well as the map control of having 2 outer towers taken down, would be more than worth it for them. So we'll see if they end up doing that. But of course, again, you always have to caveat those sort of points when you're talking about the CBLOL, because this region just loves to fight for every single thing. So they might just do that anyway.
And especially these teams, right? These teams within this region are kind of the top of let's just fight about it. I'd love to fight over anything right now, especially Red. This has been the way that they have been getting wins this split. They've not been getting wins with grand designs and strategic plays. They've been rocking up to 5v5s and hoping and praying and betting on Titan and betting on MB and FNB. And generally, it's been working. They found 14 wins in this split. Now they're up against Loud, another of our best team fighting teams, and they are going toe-to-toe with them in this game 3. Herald goes down into mid lane, but it's not going to find the turret.
And Loud over-indexing onto the top side as well. They're going to lose out on the exact same things that they would have anyway. It's bot tower going down. It's going to be mid tower in just a moment. And Dragon still up for Red to take, while Tino's got damage onto a tier 2. I think Loud playing a little too, I don't want to say risk-averse, but very non-interactive with Red at this point in the game, which is a little bit surprising given the champions that they have ended up drafting. And Red really just gets to have their cake and eat it too.
And they may be down, but it's only 1,000 gold down. It's not really a hugely material advantage. When we look at the inventories, they're fairly comparable in terms of power. And they are going to hold on to this top lane inner. They've got the Dragon now, and Red have 2 turrets to pick up on low HP in mid and top.
It's just really bizarre. I think Loud showing a bit too much respect to their opponents. Something about these red side games, man. Loud has not been able to find any sort of proactivity whatsoever. Titan's perfectly fine with the heal burned.
Is he already? Did he just drop it?
He must
I guess?
have.
Okay, well,
But-
it doesn't get the tower as well. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get the tower, but again, Loud has 0 kills. They've gotten a couple towers, but they aren't able to do anything aggressive. They're, for whatever reason, not feeling like they could defeat Red in a fight at this point in time, so they're completely avoiding them, and it's allowing Red to just nurture this bit of map control. Sure, the gold is really close, but look at the way Red is positioning around the map. They have prio in these lanes, and they are stepping up.
Yeah, they have almost 2 items done on this area. Just gonna chuck the buckler out, destroy that mid lane turret.
Ooh,
Frosty
good pillar.
though, trapped by the pillar. The rest of Red step in to dissuade any more action. But Canids has that Night Harvester Shiv combo now. He can maybe look to get a bit scrappier on these side lanes. Robo as well, getting some chunk down. The 1-3-1 from Loud could pay dividends later if they can stop Red getting too much in their own.
Now, I do think that sequence did actually favor Loud. They do lose the mid tower ultimately, but, I mean, it was 1 HP. You're going to lose it anyway. And Robo able to deny some creeps as well as get some damage on a bot lane tier 2. I think that was indeed the right call. You don't need to overfight for a mid tower. That's basically dead anyway. But still, waiting for that big explosion. We've yet to see Aegis, nice smite to get the Gromp. We've got the Baron spawning in 20 seconds. I don't honestly expect either of these teams to overforce onto that. I think we're in for a slower one, Trajan. Dragon in 3 minutes is where my eyes go.
Frosty gets 2 kills and suddenly he thinks he deserves a blue buff. Kind of crazy from the rookie support there, but he flashes in onto Tinones. Maybe that's why you give him a blue buff. Oh my word, the catch is huge, and he goes on a killing spree.
Frosty is looking really good in these blue side games. I don't know what it is, man, about the size of the rift, but something about blue side, there's something in the water over there that is making them good as mid laner down. Tinones has the teleport, but you know what I said about a Baron Force? Yeah, disregard that. Red's on to it.
Red with a little bit of a weird position over the back of the pit as Robo goes for a deep TP. Red stacked up, could get minced out by the Robo Croc. As he gets caught up though and eliminated, the rest of Loud scattered back into the jungle. And there was no angle for the Renekton. Red surgically removed the top laner. They're still looking for fights. They don't want to start the clean Baron
though. Their health bars are so low, and Thanos has a teleport. It's just another 4v5, but you just used a bunch of cooldowns and health bars to kill Robo.
Simmons goes in. Red peel away. A lot of low HP bars, you say. Aegis drops the W to prevent Sales from catching him out. Tennant's over the wall, still threatening on the LeBlanc as the Baron is reset.
Loud can maybe do something here.
Tino chops it off, but he gets perfectly into the CC chain. A little bold, my friend. Tries to stop the recalls, just puts himself in danger.
Loud will get the mid lane tier 1, however, so it's 3 kills at the end of it, traded for mid tier 1. Favorable for Red, but Loud gets something back. Critically, the Baron does not go down as the value of that Poppy pick, Trajan, that we highlighted in the draft for Aegis, stopping Seos's engage on the exit, gets everybody from Red out alive. Really nicely done from the jungler of Red, and now he's found Root.
Just going crazy on him. He's just trying to for the 1v3 right now.
He's
the rest of the team
completely
coming up the
alone.
lane, but he's completely on his own. And the Croc ultimate shreds the resistances. Aegis, that's a bit confident in himself.
I would call that a caster curse, as we can see a replay of what Tinones did. I said Loud might be able to do something here, but brother, your whole team is backing away, and he did not realize that the entirety of Red would be there. Good reaction time from Aegis to be able to get the shoulder charge into the wall instantly, as we are right back into live with another fight.
Titan's been caught. Flash on from Robo is going to get that
big
shutdown. An Envy over the wall. Robo steps back and doesn't get caught by the Pot Blossom. Robo with a big catch, and Loud stringing some nice kills together right here in game number 3, trying to fix the problem of the early game. Another picked up for them, their 3rd straight.
Red maybe getting to that point where they fumble the bag just a little bit, make things a little interesting. Game 1, I knew it was a little too clean to be true, as that is 2 more quick kills as well as an 800 gold shutdown to Robo's Renekton, finally starting to make his presence felt in this game after what was an extremely quiet performance into FNB's Cassante. Gonna be Dragon taken as well, gold dead even. Trajan, we are back to a completely neutral game state.
That period of inactivity for Loud has certainly come to an end, Hawk, as they find themselves making expeditions into the bot side jungle. 1v3s from Robo, catches out multiple members. And they've evened up that dragon stacking as well. So Red, let's see how much this shakes them if they are able to go back to what was working, as their entire gold lead, as you can see, has basically been chopped off.
You know, Trajan, there's a saying that the different... Oh, not another... Okay, okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Root does not get caught out like Titan did last game. These guys got to count the minions, man, but we're not done.
Indeed. Sails gets the ult trade, and Red are going so deep for an Alistair, man, as Titan flashes over the wall into the face of Root. He bumps up into the base.
Where is Titan going?
Is completely in the wrong neighborhood as Robo in the backline running rampant over Red. Envy locks him down with one more Root. But Red leave FNB in the lurch here. Things are falling apart for the blue side team now as FNB goes all out over the wall, trying to have himself a bit of a Cassante moment with the knockback. The gargoyles, the shield is there, but Croc can do it himself. Robo still fighting, still scrapping to get some more as Aegis splashes in. Robo's over the wall. And this fight just doesn't end. Frosty and Envy on low HP, walk into melee range and pass over the double as now Tidone slams the chain. Aegis will step away, but I just don't know what's going on anymore, man.
I mean, these players are just having fun at this point, I think, Trajan, as Robo and the rest of Loud making Red look foolish. 25 minutes into the game, they got TPs on their soul laners and a numbers advantage.
Oh, Titan's back in.
What are you doing, my friend?
Happening?
That's not a free kill. That is
Jackie Love
way trick. Yeah, Jackie Love just showed up. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss.
Okay, Loud get the Baron here. Titan thought he could remove Robo without anyone noticing. 'Twas not the case. And Red went from multiple thousands of gold up with a scaling composition, having deftly outmaneuvered Loud in the early game, to completely yeeting the whole lead out of the window. They gave 8 kills over in a row and a Baron.
Yeah, I mean, Titan just... He was feeling himself. He was strong on this area. He still is, but I mean, he just can't play that brazenly, dashing into members of Loud multiple times. I mean, let's take stock of the timeline of this engagement, I'll call it, as it's Red going deep, getting a nice pick onto Seos, but Titan over chases into the base, simultaneously killing himself and leaving his team to then get chased down by Robo. Robo in a 1v3 shatters all of Red's ankles and cleans up the kills with the help of Croc in the end. Loud fade back to Baron, and Titan just full sends it again and dies, leaving Loud now 3,000 gold in the lead with the Baron. I mean, that is not a good sequence of events for Red whatsoever. And this is the kind of concerns that we had about this team after the regular season, Trajan. This is the reason why they lost the first seed coming to playoffs after having it the entire split.
We just adopted a complete lunacy from Red for a full couple of minutes.
They abandoned a reason for madness, one could say.
Yeah, they went absolutely insane up there, and they've given that top side that they managed to handle so well all of the gold lead that they needed, that they hadn't been able to find. They gave Root money back into the game. Croc went from having no impact in this game at all to being 2-0-4 and suddenly having the items to shut down the tanks, to potentially slow Titan down with the Anathema's chains, and now Loud are the ones cracking towers and pushing on the inhibitors at 77 minutes.
And Red doesn't really have an answer. The wave clear, their composition not great. They've got the Nico, and that's about it. And they don't want to engage into Loud's comp because the counterpunch coming through from the likes of Trundle, Renekton, and Alistar, yeah, it's pretty hard to stay on top of a priority target for the Red Canids, and they know it. They're just going to try to survive the siege. Not the best long-range siege power in Loud's composition, to be fair. So, cracking the base, easier said than done.
Loud stepping up. Croc gets rooted, but there's a pillar to push Envy back. As that turret goes a bit lower. Seos is in. Tino's over the wall. Lovely Keeper's verdict, though. And Seos has been abandoned. The rest of Loud cannot follow up. They'll lose their support for that mid lane turret. And they still have a Baron, but not for much longer.
And that's with Dragon spawning in about 10 seconds. Canids, they might be able to get on the map fast enough to potentially take this one down if Loud oversteps. But already moving back to the Dragon, it's not going to be any sort of objective bounty getting claimed. Aegis makes up for his sins, does not block Seos' engage, but the Keeper's verdict was phenomenal. It at least stifles the push.
Loud now moving to Cloud Soul Point. Pick that up on the map, keep the gold lead decidedly in their favor. But critically, you can see if you look at the inventories, one player on red still has the advantage, and that is Titan. He still has the advantage in the inventory. He's still got a bit of a lead to play with, and if he is allowed to do his thing, he can make it work, as he was doing for the first, 24 minutes of this game. And if they can just return to normality, try and just get back to the mindset they had before, where they were playing defensively so well, protecting their Zeri, dealing with Loud's aggression, there's still a way out of this for Red.
This is the kind of game where Titan has to prove that he is still one of the best AD carries in Brazil. He has to show us that Titan that won 2 straight CBLOL championships before Loud were the ones to do it themselves. Because so far this series, we have seen both sides of Titan, the good and the bad. So far this game, we've seen both sides of Titan. And he needs to get it together on the Zeri. 3.5 items. The champion may not be as powerful as it once was, Trajan, but Zeri moments can never be counted out in modern League of Legends. In this game, absolutely has to be one, because Loud, they're the kind of team, they do not often give up their leads once they have them.
They are so good at closing them out. You can see them cleaning out the map here, taking the buffs, the camps, getting those waves pushed in, doing their due diligence across the map, as they do still have a very vicious split push capability with their champions that have now been accelerated to their spikes. Robo on the flank has been spotted by Red. They peel back to try and deal with him. They get a root, get a bit of damage as FNB comes up the river. Tinone's trying to keep this one going. The pillar can't stop them. And Loud, they lose an ult. They get a bit of poke, but nothing major occurs.
Yeah, but look at this though, Loud, they're just forcing Red to march to the beat of their own drum, getting corralled into the bottom side of the map with Baron spawning in 45 seconds. At some point, Red will have to step up to a mid wave, and that's when Loud's going to try to fight. So Aegis, looking at you, my friend, you've got to be able to stop the engage, and Frosty has to be able to create a counter engage. Because without those two things coming true, if Loud's just able to run forward without any hindrance, I don't think Red can stop them at this point.
Titan needs to have all of his summoners ready, needs to have all the tools prepared to keep himself alive. Ideally, you want to be playing around walls so Zeri can slide over them. FNB needs to be running interference. Frosty needs to be doing so. Aegis as well. And looking for Croc, trying to get a little bit of a catch. Titan in the river has room to play with here. Out comes the ultimate. Envy on the flank. As Loud peel back once again, and Red cannot continue the engagement. Keeper's verdict is cancelled. Tinone's on the flank. Gets a route onto Envy. Into the jungle they go. Robo flashes in to try and get the kill. Titan has to flash away. And FNB has been pushed out into the river. Root can deal with him on his own. And the one kill for Loud at the end of it all gives them full control of that Baron pit.
Red, they got one condition, but not the other. They were able to create some space into Loud's backline, but they weren't able to stop Loud from charging forward on the re-engage after the fact. And beautifully done from the reigning champions to get that fight as the re-engage. Robo, cool, calm, confident, and surprisingly patient, shows restraint as he runs down the rest of Loud out of their own jungle. It's only one kill, but the Baron is the prize.
This is playoffs, RoboHawk. This is the 5 championship wielding top laner that is trying to match the record of the best to ever do it, BRTT, in this region. Robo, time and time again, we have the questions, but time and time again, he delivers. Seos and Robo into the bot side jungle. Red looking for a punish once again, but they just can't crack that front line. Robo goes into Dominus. Out comes the Sterak's. Can they get him down? He goes into Resurrection as Titan is free firing, but in comes Tinones from the flank. Lovely Keeper's verdict. Bot bottom to slow them down. Titan's unleashed, but he's been picked up by Tinones. Loud with the flanks. Start to mince Red in their own jungle, and the champions come back again to defend their title. They're looking to pick up game 3.
Tinones in that fight, man. He is having a hell of a series. It does doesn't matter that he's 0-4 because the 1 is what counts. Tinones gets Keeper's verdicted out of the fight, snaps back with a distortion, takes down Titan, and Loud's up 2-1.
What a collapse from Red Canids. There's no other word